me say this before we get into this live stream with Don Lemon or this whole situation, because I know that y'all brought it up and y'all want me to talk about it. I will say this before I get into this review of him interacting with this woman and going back and forth and debating with a woman, all right? This Mexican woman. Despite Don Lemon's lifestyle, despite how wrong he is about a lot of different issues, including the one that we're about to talk about right now, I have so much respect for Don Lemon. I know that sounds crazy. I know that the people are going to say that that's wrong. Okay, I'm going to read them super chats shortly. I know that the people are not expecting that, but I just have to say it. I have so much respect for Don Lemon's work ethic. I say it all the time because, listen, I'm objective enough to give people their props. And there's things that I can learn from anybody. And I don't care. The bag has no reservation on who you can learn from and who it is that you need to be paying attention to. Don Lemon, as crazy as he is a hustler. He beat me to it. He absolutely beat me to it. He on the street with his microphone, with his camera people and all of that. I didn't anticipate launching my assault in the streets until next year. I didn't anticipate launching my assault in the streets until next year. See, I got a plan for mine because I got a family, I got a daughter. I got to put it in my schedule. I'm running 4 different channels and all of that. But I got to give respect to Don Lemon because the reason why he is successful is because Don work. He work. And objectively, you have to give him that. So me criticizing Don Lemon is completely separate. His political views is completely separate from his work ethic. And I think that one of the lessons that we have to learn, y'all, is that the bag has no names. The bag has no political affiliation. The bag has no perspective on who acquires it. It's the person that works the hardest and the person that takes a position while at the same time being in the street. So Don Lemon catch a lot of hell, but Don Lemon also catch a lot of bags, I'm assuming too. So I gotta give that to him. Now let's get into the conversation.
What's happening with immigration. Okay, so...
No, I'm not really, but I'm just saying, we're from Kansas City.
Okay.
But originally from Mexico, so I kind of know what's going on.
Okay, but you don't live in Chicago?
No, we don't live in Chicago.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. It's nice to meet you.
But we are for immigration, though. I mean, they have to do it legally, and they have to do it the right way. Mexico right now is doing mass deportations on all the people that stayed illegally,
right?
Because that's how you manage a country. And it's not about hating people, myself as an immigrant. It's just about doing things the right way.
She's right.
I understand that, but we don't like people being roughed up. America doesn't do that. America's about due process. And if you're going to come to this country, of course you need to do it legally, you need to follow the things. But in America, if you're going to go and pick someone up, you have to have due process. You've got to have a warrant. You've got to show them that there is a reason to do it.
No, you don't.
There is, you know what I'm saying? And so maybe in Mexico that's different, but we don't beat our people up here. We're not supposed to.
Mexico is in North America, so North America is a continent. So you do have to do things.
Ran up on the right one today.
The right way. And anywhere.
But Mexico doesn't go by the same rules that we do. We're the biggest democracy in the country, in the world, and we believe.
What I notice in these situations is that Don Lemon, like a lot of other people, have microphone supremacy, meaning that they can pull the microphone away from you and start talking back and forth or whatever. Even when I'm on panels, I try not to censor people unless they get wildly crazy and disrespectful. I let them talk because I think that it's only fair and you can't use microphone supremacy in order to justify your argument. But this woman was so well-versed and understood the assignment, and she was so chill that she was able to get her stuff off regardless of how Don Lemon tried to play it.
Believe that we treat people humanely here.
No, I get that, and the thing is that when you come from a country that is not the U.S., you really see the blessing coming to a country that has freedom, a a country that
I
gives
completely agree with you, but you also see the way that you should not treat people. And I don't think people are protesting out here because they're upset that that they believe that people should just come over illegally. I think they're upset because of the way that they are doing it and that they are not going through the people. If you want to come to Chicago and you want to bring in the National Guard, you have to talk to the local officials and get their approval. That's how it works here. And you cannot just pick someone up and say, I'm going to grab you, whether they are undocumented or not,
Totally.
or documented or not.
Others the way that you want to be treated correctly.
Right. So I think that's why people are protesting.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
That's
you
not
know,
why people are protesting.
that's good, and that applies anywhere. It doesn't matter what country. That applies everywhere.
I agree.
You want to be treated the way that you want to treat others.
Right. But if you come, you want to do it the proper way. If you want to come,
Exactly,
over. Right.
exactly,
That.
and that's anywhere. So I think that also people need to understand that, because a lot of them have signs that said, "No human is illegal."
Yeah.
But once you enter the wrong way, doing it the proper way, you're breaking the
illegal.
law.
Yep.
And I think that
Breaking
we
the
need
law.
to see both sides
That's
of
not a
it.
criminal act, and the president is a criminal. And
How is that not a criminal act to break into a country and use up their resources and services? How is that not a criminal act? How is it not a criminal act to commit a crime? Honestly, I think it should be elevated from a misdemeanor to a felony. I think that it should be elevated from a misdemeanor to a felony to break into another person's country illegally and then take advantage of the resources that they have inside of that country. I think it should be a felony.
he's in the highest office in the land. Coming over and being undocumented is not a criminal act. It does not deserve someone to be pushed to the ground and handcuffed. It's not. And so if you live, let me just tell you, I just got to be honest with you. If you come from a place like Mexico or whatever, you're from Mexico?
Yes.
If you come from a place like Mexico,
And
you're
he's telling
right.
the lady that's actually went through the immigration process. And I will also tell you that people that actually came over here legally are more upset about illegal migrants doing it illegally than people that actually live here inside of the United States of America.
We have amazing opportunities in this country. And the reason we have those is because we have a constitution where we treat people humanely and we believe in immigration and people coming over. Not everybody comes over and they're going to do it the same way. Sometimes people come over under desperate situations and they need to get out. And we have to understand that. But the reason that we have all these things and that you love America is because people have due process. It's because we don't treat people inhumanely. It's because we don't beat people up. It's because we don't throw people in detention centers in horrible conditions. That's why you love America. If we did that, then we would be the same as the places people are coming from, looking for more freedoms and more opportunities.
I also see a dark side of it, though, because now you see cities like California, Chicago.
You mean Los Angeles? States like California.
Yes, exactly. States like California, with cities like Los Angeles and other parts of California, Chicago, and then you see Portland, and then you see all these other places where people are just breaking the law constantly, and they're just getting a slap on the wrist and send their way.
But
and
where's it? Portland? There's no emergency. There's no crime. In all of these cities that you're talking about, crime is down.
Okay, when you see
always have issues with crime in big cities.
When you see those videos on TV of people just going in stores and stealing merchandise and just running out with
that shouldn't happen, but what does that have to do with immigration?
What I'm saying is that it has to do a lot with immigration, because you are saying that crossing illegally is not a crime. They're not breaking the law. That's my thing. If you
it's not a crime.
Go to Japan and try to do it illegally, and I guarantee you,
we don't live in Japan. That's the thing.
Okay, but
do you want to live under Japanese rule? You're making my point. You don't want to live under a dictatorship.
What I'm trying to tell you is that America is heading that way, because we're only giving slaps on the wrist instead of enforcing the law. So
there are things that we need to work with, but we cannot.
This is why you got to let people finish their point, because she's bringing it back home and she's saying that America is eventually going to become like similarly to some of these other countries because they continue to let other people come in here illegally and break the law.
People and not give them due process. Do we need to work on people who don't serve enough time in jail and other things? Absolutely. Yes. But that is not the same as immigration. And that, look, I think people should come here the right way. But also, I'm not in a dire situation where I'm going to judge how someone comes in the country when they are in fear of their lives, or they
unless they come into his house.
Have no opportunities. I'm not going to judge how they
told me the president is a criminal, so that's judging.
No, I'm not judging. That's fact. How's that judging?
Okay, crossing the border illegally is not a crime?
No, it's not a criminal act. Okay. It's a misdemeanor.
So why are they being sent back and saying that they're breaking the law?
That's the point.
Okay, as somebody that actually...
We don't know if they're breaking the law because they won't tell. There's no due process. Where's the evidence? That's the whole point. And if they are breaking the law, most people will say, okay, then they need to go if they're criminals. But if they're not, why are they being rounded up and sent out? Especially when he promised to deport the criminals. And now he's not doing that.
Yeah, I don't think we're going...
Misdemeanor is not a crime, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So misdemeanor is not a crime?
It's not a criminal act, no. If you get charged with...
Misdemeanor is not a crime. Interesting. He said a misdemeanor is not a criminal act. A misdemeanor is not a criminal act. Okay, well, let's pull up some of these criminal acts. Common misdemeanor crimes, not limited to, but DUIs, burglaries, simple assault, drug possession, reckless driving, prostitution, drug crimes. None of these things are criminal act, guys. Nothing. Perjury, criminal mischief, assault, and battery. None of these things are criminal. These are not crimes. You are not committing a crime when you do this stuff. I just want to, this is just the common things, all right? You are not committing a crime when you're doing these misdemeanor crimes, okay?
The misdemeanor, that's not a criminal act.
So why get charged at all then, if it's not a criminal act?
Because we have different levels of crime. Everything is not the same.
So it is crime.
No,
it's just
we
different
have different levels of, I shouldn't say crime, but it's not.
No, you said what you said.
It's not a crime. You're not breaking the law. I mean, you are breaking the law, but it's not a criminal act.
So it's breaking the law.
You're not breaking the law.
The misdemeanor is not breaking the law.
No.
If you're speeding, drinking, get pulled over, DUI.
That's not a criminal act. Well, no.
You know, it is okay to say, you know what, I misspoke, or you know what, I understand what you're saying. Let me go and think about it. Even if you don't want to concede, it's okay.
Your speeding is a misdemeanor.
It's a misdemeanor. Right. So it's still breaking the law.
Okay. Well, if you want to qualify that, we're doing semantics. But what I'm trying to tell you is,
yeah, maybe Don. I think that Don is doing a great job of building his platform, but maybe he's a little bit off when it comes to being able to debate people instead of being able to sit in the studio or in his living room spewing his liberal talking points. This woman cooked 100%, and I think that she did a phenomenal job. But, you know, Don is going to continue to go viral for all the wrong reasons, but going viral is going viral regardless of how you feel about it. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.